Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, and today, or rather tonight, I'm going to do a review about Black Panther. Now, I've known about Black Panther for about a year, and I've been excited for the movie. Obviously, I knew that it was going to be a bunch of badass, baldy black women, and it was going to be situated in Africa, but my initial reason why I was so excited about the movie is because of Ryan Coogler. Now, let me tell you something. I am from Oakland.
I am from Oakland.
He directed Fruitvale Station, he directed Creed, and he directed this movie. I was extremely excited that an Oakland native, and he's dead ass from Oakland. If you listen to any of his interviews, he still sounds like he's from Oakland, and that's what I love. Not only is he from Oakland, he's only 31 years old. So that right there, he's inspiring young filmmakers, young brown filmmakers to really get out there and follow your heart, follow your dreams, follow your passion, and grind. Now, Marvel gave Coogler a $200 million budget, which is the biggest budget ever given to a black director. And this weekend alone, he well surpassed $200 million in one weekend. So I'm from Oakland. Coogler's from Oakland. The opening scene was set in Oakland, and Oakland is mentioned throughout the film. Now, peep this. The Black Panther movement was founded in Oakland in the 60s. Black Panther, Black Panther. And the movie came out on February 15th, if I'm not mistaken, which is one day before Huey P. Newton, who is the co-founder of the Black Panther Party, social activist, everybody should know who he is, right before his birthday. You guys, a lot of symbolism. Things were put into place with intention. All right. Point of view. What the movie did was it brought one of the very few black superheroes in the Marvel universe to a main stage. Finally, being able to have a vision and a voice come to fruition on one of the biggest, like in one of the biggest production platforms that's in existence right now, that is progress. Marvel obviously is the holy grail of superhero movies. So what this movie did was put a predominantly black cast literally on an international and global stage. And the creative team behind it were black. That has never been done before. That is extremely groundbreaking. Historically and culturally, superhero movies have played a tremendous role in the lives of black and brown kids. For generations, kids have been using superheroes to creatively disconnect from the real world and tap into something that was tangible to them. Yes, it was a nerdy thing, but I also realized that it was an escape from real life. Not only to escape, but to make you feel like you can be strong enough. You can have these superpowers to get past your circumstances. You could be Peter Parker, you could be Batman, you could be Iron Man, you can have these powers despite what circumstances you're in. So let's never forget that superheroes really were big in urban communities. I can talk about the movie from a superhero geeky point of view, but I'm not gonna because I'm not one of those people. I want to talk about the impact it made. And one of the biggest things, obviously, from a visibility, from a representation point of view, was all of the melanin dripping from the screen. Like, the women were of darker hue. How often in mainstream cinema do you see all of the women having darker hues? I will wait. Okay, your answer might be enslaved movies. Yes, yeah. For the most part, the only time you really see a mosaic of really chocolate women is in slave movies. So to see the women as strong warriors, not domestic engineers, is powerful. It's powerful for young girls to say, oh my God, I want to be like her. I have a new ideology of what a superhero can look like. Dark skin is beautiful. And then I want the little boys to say, oh my gosh, dark skin is beautiful. There was only natural hair on set. It was beyond beautiful to see the baldy, to see braids, to see locks, to see different natural hairstyles that were inspired by real ass African tribes, that was inspired by Afropunk, that was inspired by today's modern day natural hair movement. So we need to use Black Panther as a blueprint for recreating this standard of beauty. And throughout the industry, throughout corporate America, throughout the fashion industry, everyday life, we need to create these standards so that this is acceptable to wear. Whether I go to work bald, whether I have a mini fro, a big ass afro, whether I have locks, this is all acceptable. This is all beauty. We're changing the standard. Thank you, Black Panther. He brought in a badass team of Black specialists, one of them being Ruth Carter. For those of you who don't know, she is a costume designer on other Black superhero movies like Malcolm X and Selma. She literally paid homage to Africa. She literally was inspired from various tribes all over Africa. She did research to curate these amazing costumes. Everything from the geometry of the costume to the colors, it all had purpose and meaning, and that is beautiful. And for those of you who don't know, again, yes, my focus has always been on sustainable fashion. Obviously, sustainability has more of an environmental, social, and economic point of view, but it also has a cultural point of view. To me, cultural relevancy when it comes to sustainability is pertinent to sustainable fashion and sustainable style. Being able to preserve those cultures through your fashion authentically, yes, is sustainable fashion. It's not just about the environmental aspect. Looking at the fashion was extremely important because it told this story of heritage and paying homage to culture. And I love that. I love that about the film. And you're not seeing that in any other Marvel movies. It's phenomenal. And even something like the language was a derivative of South African language, South African dialect. So there was a lot of important attention that was given to culture throughout this whole entire movie, and I'm here for it. Hopefully, we begin to change our understanding of Africa. The negative portrayal of Africa as dirt poor. I hope we begin to understand that you see this stuff right here, this vibranium that I got from Wakanda. Africa is full of vibranium, you guys. For me, vibranium represents the essence of sustainability. Africa is an extremely rich continent, and the natural resources from diamonds to salt to gold to copper to silver to shea butter, okay? These are the natural elements that make us so rich and make us so much more advanced than places like America, I'm sorry to say. And this Africa before colonization is honestly what Africa would have been. What you see in Wakanda, I mean, yes, you see somewhat of a futuristic and exaggerated portrayal of what it is, but this is Africa. This is what it is. And I think it's important for us to create a paradigm shift finally in our head. You guys, come on, let's get it together. You see this vibranium? Let's get it together. Vibranium, aka the natural resources that make Africa so advanced. That's holistic remedies that have been the foundation of Africa for generations. So when we talk about health, when we talk about wellness, fashion, food, beauty, when we talk about everything, it comes from the earth, it comes from herbs, it comes from what is already in Africa that makes Africa so great, that makes people like America want to exploit it. It's full of this stuff, guys. It's full of this stuff. There was a lot of interesting character development, like in terms of what kind of king does T'Challa want to be, after finding out about his dad and what he had done, and the dynamic between the character, like the character development was really great to me. I mean, I think they could have developed Michael B. Jordan's character a little more, but the dynamic between the characters and the stories and the growth factor of the stories was very interesting. Like most Marvel movies, I'm like, where's the action? I don't really care about the backstory. But for this movie, I was okay with the moderate action it had and learning more about the development of Wakanda, because what I think is going to happen is that it's going to become a trilogy and you're going to see more dope fighting scenes later on. But yeah, I mean, I'm more into the cultural meaning and message for this review. At the end of the day, superhero cinema is a huge business. It's not a Black owned business, right? So if you want to make a culturally relevant film that's changing the narrative and challenging systems, as long as you're doing it as authentically as possible and you're bringing on your team to put people of color on when and where they need to be put on. And that is what this film did. Obviously, it didn't hit every box. And I don't think we've gotten a film that's ever hit every box. It does what it's supposed to do. I think sometimes Black people need to be reminded of their strength. They're told they're weak way too often. So sometimes we need music, movies, something very visual and something that feels tangible to remind us that we're strength. And not only that we're strong, but that our strength prevails in numbers. For young people in the next generation going up, especially who are creatives, entrepreneurs, or just, I'm just an everyday Black person, you cannot help but get inspired, whether you're looking at it from a fashion point of view, or you're looking at it from having dark skin point of view, or you're looking at it from a holistic point of view, or you're looking at it from an African point of view. There's so many ways to extract positivity from this film. And to me, it did what it was supposed to do, and it did it well. I particularly want Black Americans to want to go to Africa. I know that's a very huge undertaking, but I experienced something before I went to Ghana last year. I experienced a lot of, I'm being very honest. I experienced a lot of Black backlash, and it was from the Black community. Why would you want to go to Africa? Who would want to go to Africa? Don't get kidnapped. Don't. There was just so much negativity from the Black community before I left to Africa, that I hope something major that this movie does is for ignorant Black minds here in America to be able to open your eyes, ears, heart, and open your goddamn common sense and know that, yes, there are parts of Africa that you probably don't need to be going to. just like America. Just like America. Okay. So I want us to get back to our roots. I want us to want to go home. Want to see what it's like, experience culture. This is where we're from. And I want us to really get the colonized mindset up from under us. So you can't talk to me about being woke if you don't have on your list of things to do to go to Africa. Period. Don't talk to me about being woke. Don't do it. I also want first generation and second generation Africans to be more open-minded to Black Americans as well. Even when I was in Ghana, there was a lot of conversations of, not a lot, like they embraced me as their sister, but there were people who didn't. You're not African. You're not my sister. No, I may not be first, second generation African, but I'm from Africa and I'm just as much your sister. Truth be told, there are so many negative stereotypes perpetuated towards Black people, towards Black Americans. I think we need to immerse ourselves with each other and become really dope and powerful. I think we need to have more of these conversations, see more visuals of Black Americans and Africans and West Indians. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're all Black. So we need to be able to collectively unify in a way that we haven't before and sort of get out of our comfort zone and really see how royal we are and how much more royal we can become when we do it together. Once we see ourselves as beautiful, we'll be able to accomplish so much more. Once we see ourselves as beautiful, we'll be able to accomplish so much more. Wakanda forever.